right, welcome back to the Dirt Beers Podcast. This is episode number 29. Our guest this week is Ashton Winger. But before we get to that, we've got to get to our housekeeping rules and thank our sponsor, Inland Rigging. Inland Rigging is a machinery and moving and warehousing company based out of Southern California, offering local, domestic, and international moving services. Whether you have one piece of machinery, a complete factory, or even a warehouse, Inland Rigging has you covered. With a deep family history in the business dating back to 1904, Inland Rigging continues the same family values that has made Inland Rigging the right choice for so many years. Thanks to Tom and everybody at Inland Rigging for always supporting the show. But this week we got Ashton Winger. Ashton, thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
Awesome. So when we first started the show, we like to start a little tradition here by cracking a beer. So everybody wants to get their beers out. Oh, the book. Oh, the King Can. Look at that.
Yep.
Nice.
Got the Miller Latte for me. Busch King Can. Yeah, I figured, you know what? I did a little fancy on it, and it's branded stuff, so I like it.
There you go. Beer and Zin in for Ashton. Perfect.
One upper, one lower decking.
There you go. So, Ashton, we like to start the show just by getting to know our guests a little bit and their background. But how old are you and where are you from?
So I'm 25. I'm from Georgia. I've lived all over, but I was born in Georgia. Georgia's where I'm at now. So yeah, it's pretty cool actually being down here, being down south. It ain't nothing like the South, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool spot. I mean, we were talking a little bit off air, but you got the privileged life of living on a racetrack. So talk to us a little bit about that setup and some of the stuff that you see kind of basically out your window or in your backyard, if you want.
Yeah, so I live in a condo off Turn 4 at Atlanta Motor Speedway, or Echo Park Speedway now. I think Flo actually did a piece on it with my mom before Eldora a few years ago. But no, it's pretty cool. They got always something going on. Like as we speak, there's Bandolero racing and legend car racing going on. That's actually where I started racing. And then they've got festivals and a bunch of concerts. Like they had this one thing a few years ago. It was called Imagine Fest, and it was actually pretty funny because it's like hipster, like I don't know, like I guess tree hugging is the term, but I just there was some different people. I was actually coming down the elevator one night, and there was a guy and there was a girl, and the guy and the girl were both in the elevator, didn't have anything on, and all they had was like those cone birthday hats covering their crotch. So like it was European up top, not just nothing, and then. Which honestly, the dude might have had bigger tits than the chick, but like there was cone heads covering the crotch, and that was enough for me to make sure I was out of town every time Imagine Fest is in town.
Oh, that's funny.
Looking for a race that weekend just for that weekend. I love it.
Yeah, honestly, I would probably go to my least favorite racetrack if that was all it was racing.
Oh, that's funny. So you mentioned that you get your start in racing in that Bandolero / Legends class. Where did the racing journey start for you?
Well, really, I mean, it kind of started back, probably before I was born. So my dad's from California, and my mom's from Georgia, and so my dad actually went to high school with Snoop Dogg, Cameron Diaz, all of them. Yeah, so you wouldn't know it, but he's a Cali boy. So, and then my mom's from down south. She's a Georgia peach. And so my dad, so his mom raced, and I never got to meet her. She passed before I came along. She raced figure 8 out in California. And then my grandpa on my mom's side used to race down here. Guys like Mike Head, Buck Simmons, all those guys. And actually, Billy Clanton, Shane's dad. So when my dad's mom passed away, or my grandma passed away, my dad actually moved across and started working for Mike Head. And then him and my mom met, and, they did what adults do. And I come along, and, we joke, I really never had a choice. My mom makes the joke. She loved me ever since she found out she was having a kid, and my dad loved me ever since he found out I was going to be a boy. And so we pretty much pushed for this my whole life, and I never really wanted to do the NASCAR thing, as crazy as that sounds. I mean, I grew up racing with guys like William Byron and Chase Purdy and Chandler Smith and Zane Smith, all those guys. But I always, my background's always been dirt. And so for me, like in 2020, when we were on the World of Outlaws, hell, at 20 years old, I felt like I had already made it
Yeah.
and lived out what I wanted to do. So, yeah, that's pretty much how it started. And somewhere along the way, we're here. So, yeah, that's pretty much the quick rundown of how we got here.
So, what was that first moment where you jumped into a full size race car like? What was it, and where was it?
So actually, it was at Boyd Speedway in Ringgold, Georgia. It's actually shut down now. I don't know if I have this right. I may have them flip flop, but the pits are in Georgia and the racetrack's in Tennessee. It's right there on the line.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's pretty
but the
cool.
first time I ever got in a car was I was in a two-seater with Dale McDowell, and really, honestly, I think, I think that's something that a lot of guys like Dale, guys like Jimmy Owens, um, the guys, I don't want to say they're old, but they are a little aged. And, um, like it really helped me before I ever even made a lap with a wheel in my hand that I could control in a full size car. It was a dirt late model. It really helped me to look over and like I could watch Dale, and Dale's really, really good at, like if my hands are here in the center of the corner in this condition, like this is what I'm looking for. And before I ever even made a lap, I kind of had a general, like I had raced, like I said, I raced Bandoleros. I never did the legend cars. We went straight from Bandoleros to super late models. And then my dad, he's tied in pretty big with Kaiser Manufacturing and Integra. So he went off and was always kind of doing his commitments to that. And then it's actually funny, me and my mom, and 2018, me, my mom, and a couple guys that have sponsored me, forever jumped in our Hardang, old rinky dink toter that we had and our little pull behind enclosed trailer and went and did, crates all over pretty much. And, but, back to what I was talking about when I first got in, it was technically speaking, the first time I ever got in one was in a two-seater with Dale, and Dale did a really good job of explaining, and you got radios hooked up, and he's talking to you while he's driving, and man, I bet his heart rate don't go up 15 notches, from when he's sitting still to actually, at speed, and I think that really helped me. Obviously, I'm a little wild and some controversy and haven't quite figured out how to tone it down yet. But, seeing, him kind of just, it was like he was driving his pickup truck on a Sunday, just cruising through backwoods. And that was really big for me. But that's really where I got my quote unquote start. Like I said, the McDowell family, Shane, Dale, Sarah, they were actually really big into um, kind of getting me going, and it was definitely something I'll never forget.
That definitely a different first experience than what we've heard before. I mean, I don't think
Mhm.
anybody said that their first experience was a two-seater, so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And the fact that you got to learn from Dale on the
Mhm.
bike and him explaining it, that's a pretty cool story. I like that a lot. But so when you get into racing, let's talk about, your kid going through high school, you get to the end of high school. Was there any thought of, hey, I'm going to go to college, or was it this, I'm going all in on racing and this is what I want to do?
Well, I mean, I think I'd lie if I told you that I didn't. You go. I don't know. Honestly, that's a kind of a tough one to answer. Like, I want to say there was thought, but really, no. Like,
Okay.
because I never really got to be. I don't want to say a kid because I mean I did. I got to go up and down the road with Shane Clanton, Mike Marlar, Chase Youngins, like all these guys that really helped me. Like that was one thing I'll say. Like I'm really really lucky that eh, you know I've been around it my whole life, but I got to hear how guys talked and hear
Yeah.
you know the way people explain stuff and watch. You can learn a lot watching. I think once you get into it and racing, I mean it's I think that's why why there's guys that just hang out in the stands with a 6-pack of beer and watch and like, oh, this guy did that, and then somebody that's raced is like, no, it's not. I know it looks like that, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of shit going on that you don't really pick up on, that you don't even realize. But I mean, no, that was really never. I mean, I always kind of wanted to go to college because I've always been a pretty big party boy. Like
Yeah.
I'm all about party, and I mean, I've gotten a little better as I've gotten older. I still hang out with everybody, and I pretty much like everybody. I mean, hell, at the end of the day, we're all one big family. But it's like I never went to any proms. I never went to any homecomings. I think I went to only 2 or 3 high school football games because I had to be the mascot, because it was either that or get kicked out of school for doing stupid shit. I mean, I kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it was, you, I just, it's all I've ever done. Like, I tell everybody, like, even on the bad days, whenever I suck, like, what the hell am I going to do? Like, I ain't going to be, the closest thing I'm going to be to being a plumber is just having my ass crack hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know it's all I know. So, and even there's days where it looked like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So, really, I no, not to answer your question. No, there was never. I don't want to say that I ever thought that I would be at 25. Like I've run the whole World of Outlaws. I've done the Hell Tour twice. Like I feel like I'm more, more along the lines of like I've done. I feel like I'm a seasoned at 25, maybe than other than like Hudson or um, maybe Devin when he was my age, or Sheppy for that matter. But as far as like guys from around my region at 25, I feel like I've run as many races as anybody could at 25 with what we were able to do. And I've had a lot of really good people. I was really lucky. I mean, shit, like I said, when I was 20 years old, I had a full-time ride going and running World of Outlaws. I mean, I had a lot of really cool people and a lot of guys along my way kind of mold and shape and allow me to do stuff. Because I mean, hell, racing's, I mean, it's crazy expensive now, but even then, I mean, it's never been, I want to say a cheap hobby.
Yeah.
You hear people talk all the time about growing up travel baseball and on the girls' side doing cheerleading and stuff like that. But I was never. We've always just raced, and it was never. Hey, we're doing this at school one week, or hey, we're doing that. Like it was always like I'm gonna get up, go to school, do whatever to get through that, and then it's like the racing. So
Hmm.
it's definitely been cool. There's days I've wanted to pull my hair out, but I always try to keep the mentality that somebody's got it worse than me, if not the majority of people. So it's no, it's been fun so far.
So take us back to that decision when you're, around 20 years old and you're going to jump on the World of Outlaws for the first time. I mean, looking over the stats, you win Rookie of the Year, you get that win, your first career World of Outlaws win at Cedar Lake. But what's leading into that decision to go and chase the World of Outlaws at the age that you were at?
Well, I'd say a combination of things. I mean, number one, like, so I guess it probably goes all the way back to 2018. I mean, um, I started racing late models in I think 2015. I kind of dabbled. I never really raced until 2017. I was probably doing about 20 nights in 2015 and 16, and then in 2017 we kind of got to race up to, I think we got around 35 nights, and then um, 2018, like I said, my dad was kind of working a lot and doing everything he kind of needed to do to keep everything going. And when I turned 18, me, my mom, my buddy Richard Good, my buddy Michael Queen, my buddy Jim Bryant, we all, Michael, Richard, and Jim would come when they could. But I mean, shit, there was some weekends it was me and my mama. We would go up and down the road, and we did that. At the time, I think it was Durance Lane, it was Neesmith, but now it's Crate Racing USA.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not really national. I mean, it's national as far as regional. We'll call it regional, because like in the crate deal, you got Rush up in the north, and then you got
Yeah.
Crate Racing USA down here now. And we went and did that, and I mean, hell, when we did that, man, it was me, Corey Hedgecock, Jake Knowles. Man, there was some guys that knew however you want to say it, what they were doing. I mean, them guys still did or still do have success, and I mean, I think Corey's won his fair share of outlaw races. Jake won a Lucas race. I mean, so I think that was for me. I just got really lucky that like the path I was on, I was always racing good guys. Like, so like whenever I really would race, say I'd race 35 nights in 17, like 20 of them were at Sonoya, and I was racing Clint Smith, who's been a huge help in my career. I mean, that guy has done more for me than I don't want to say he's done a lot for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
I was racing him every night, and he's had his success. And I was racing Michael Page and Clanton and Brandon Overton and like guys like that. This was when Sonoya kind of revamped and went back to dirt, and they really really kind of shot the trajectory of that place, to where it is today. I mean, it's always been historic, but
Yeah.
that was when a lot of stuff started going in the right direction for them. And then, um, we went and did that Career Racing USA deal and we won it. And then in 2019, Billy Franklin come along and he helped me out a ton with a super motor. Cause I mean, hell, super late model racing, anybody that you ask is, I mean, it takes a lot to do it. It takes people, it takes money, it takes shit going right. It just takes, a lot of things going your way. And Billy Franklin come along and I, dude, honestly, to be quite honest with you, I was just kind of like, I'm just a crate guy out here pitter pattering around. And then we I don't know, I think I won my first. I don't know if you call it. I think they're all big. No race is easy to win, but I won one of my first super
Yeah.
late model race where you got a big check at Why Not, and Billy was there and he was helping me, and then I won a couple Ray Cook races and some Southern All Star races, and we had won I want to say a spring nationals race at Crossville, and this was maybe in August or September, and then we were at Smoky Mountain the next day, and Billy called my dad, and he was like, "Man, that kid's too good to be, if he's going to do it, you need to do it right." And Billy pretty much took on doing most of it by himself, and gave me the opportunity to. He went and bought me a hauler, and he paid for the motors, the cars, and I had a little bit of help here and there with some guys that have always helped me. My buddy Jimmy Waldrop down in Florida helped me out a ton, and then we were it just kind of went from there. Like we really didn't know what. I don't know. I mean, my dad's always been the one. Like, we went to races even whenever, like I said, in the 20 to 30 nights I raced before, where we probably really didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
But we've always kind of believed in racing the best guys only get you better, and um, it was one of them deals where everything just kind of fell in place, and we did the whole deal in 2020. And I mean, like I said, that was how that all kind of came about.
So I want to talk about, you've been racing for a number of years now. Do you recall either your first big wreck or your biggest wreck that you've had in your career so far?
My first big wreck was probably at Sonoya at a local race. Uh, Clint Smith was leading. Joe Armistead was second. I think I was third. And my dumbass probably was. So we talked about the Dale McDowell heart rate thing, and mine was probably not 15. Mine was probably 150 notches above what it needed to be. And it was like one of the first times where, like, because you know how local racing is. You got the guys you got to beat, and
Yeah.
I was actually like staying with them guys, and dude, I hit the fence one night getting into three at Sonoya and climbed the gate. Probably
Oh
took out a
boy.
few trees. That was probably my first one. My biggest one, shit, that's hard to pick because I've wrecked a lot. Probably the the biggest one was probably that flip at I-75.
Yeah.
That's got like 3 million views.
Yeah.
And then I got out acting like a jackass, and we're all on the back straight away. And I mean, just that was probably the biggest one. That was, as far as wreck. I mean, like like I flipped qualifying at Talladega last year, and I had, my mom's big, you know, she's a mom, she worries.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
one of the ones she actually made me go get my head checked out, and I had brain bleeding for like 3 or 4, I want to say weeks from that. But as far as like wreck, that one at I-75 was pretty violent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So take us back to, the crewing life. I want to figure out if you couldn't drive the race car. It sounds like you'd still be involved in racing. So what are you doing on the crew? What other job in racing do you think you could do other than driving the race car?
I mean, I take pride in my own stuff. I love doing bodies. I
Yeah.
just think there's something cool about, everybody can lay a piece of sheet metal out on a table. It's kind of just what you do with it. I kind of, there for the longest time, whenever it was just me and my dad, like I did the tires, and I mean that's a whole job in itself. Now with compounds and cutting, siping, grooving, some of the places you go, some of these guys like to juice. I mean, it's
No, we're specific, eh?
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I've ever done that, or at least don't think I have. If I have, I ain't never got caught for it. But just I don't think that. I mean, really, just pick. You know what I mean? I always make the joke that in racing, it's really not a joke. I mean, you never really get done. You kind of just load everything up and go race. I mean, there's always something to do, and I've always really enjoyed the fabrication and the bodies. I
Yeah.
mean, I always say that I probably could weld some shit together, but it probably wouldn't look very good. So I'd probably be more of a grinder than a welder.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So take us through your. I mean, we're gonna get to where your season's at right now a little bit later on, but take us through your typical week, Monday to Sunday during race season. What does it look like for you?
Well, I mean, it really depends on the time of year. Like, if probably one of my favorite things to do is the summer nationals, and that's obviously just race every day. But
Yeah.
but as far as like if like a normal, we'll call it week. So like this week, we got Sonoya tomorrow, Swainsboro Friday, and I'm not really sure what we're gonna do Saturday. But so usually we wash on Monday. Sometimes I'll wash on Sunday. I mean, hell, as much work as it is, sometimes if you don't wash on Sunday, it feels like you're behind. But I usually try to at least decompress one day.
Yeah.
So usually we wash Monday, and then depending on how much stuff I tear up, I mean, usually the first thing we do is we maintenance check and make sure nothing's bent, and then I'm really, like I said, I like to do the body, so I want to jump on that first. But if you kind of do that, depending on how your work situation is, it's sometimes better to work with the body stuff off the car. So
Yeah.
usually we'll do a bunch of maintenancing on Tuesday, Wednesday, and if it's just a normal Friday, Saturday weekend, do body stuff on Thursday, and the whole week. Like I said, most of the time my tire guys, doing his tires, and we had a pretty good system down of who does what, and when, and it's a lot. You wash the hauler, you clean the inside, you clean the outside. I mean, hell, we're riding up and down the road and $750,000 rigs, so there's a
Yeah.
lot of upkeep with those, and just trying to keep the wheels turning.
Absolutely. And you know what? You're such a chill guy, Ashton. I can't imagine this is something for you, but we love to talk race day superstitions. Do you have any? Do you have anything on race day that, either got to put your shoes on a certain way, one pant leg at the right time? You got any race day superstitions?
No, not really. I used to. Well, I mean, so I know that there's green on a race car, peanuts, chicken. I know some guys. I think I watched a documentary. Larson puts his right glove on before his left. Not really. I mean, because the way I see it is like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I mean, there
Yeah.
ain't you kind of just control the stuff you can control,
Yeah.
and whatever happens, I kind of believe is just gonna happen, and it's when you're out there racing. I mean, really, when you put it in perspective, I mean, you're racing out there with 23 other guys by the time the A rolls around, and I have a hard time to believe in, you know, this guy jumps the cushion in front of me and I ass pack him because I ate a chicken leg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really, no, I'm not big in, but I know some guys are diehard. Like I said, whenever, luckily, like when I went up and down the road with Clanton, he had a black and green car, so he wasn't really. I think Clanton's big on like peanuts and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But hell, we're from the South, so like the peanuts and chicken and all that, that's. I mean, hell, that's probably
You're
running
cooking
through our
chicken in
blood.
peanut oil. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, we are. Chick-fil-A was founded like 20 minutes up the road, so who the hell am I? I don't. No, but no, not really. I'm not really big on. Maybe I should be, but no.
So before we got going here, I want to give you a sec here to give us a little breakdown on your rig you're sitting in right now, because it was pretty interesting, and I want the world to know what is Ashton Winger driving around in.
So this is an '05 GMC Sierra, and I'll move it around. So the back window obviously is not a window, and that's just a piece of sheet metal, which it is cut the way it's supposed to be. I just don't really have it. I didn't really mount it. I just kind of stuck it up there. It's got 400,000 miles on it. I'm trying to flip the camera here. I don't know. I can't figure it out, but like it doesn't have a rear view mirror. And in all honesty, like everybody gives me shit about it because this thing is, I mean, it's honestly a rolling shit box. But when I was 15, I lost my virginity in this thing, and so like I'm never getting rid of this thing. Like when I was 15, my dad was off racing, and my mom was asleep, so I snuck out at like I want to say like midnight, and I drove like an hour and 47 minutes to a racetrack, by the way, and met up with this girl and did what 15-year-olds do, and then drove back. Which, by the way, I didn't have my license at this point. Like, the more I tell this story, like, there's a lot of shit that could have gone wrong. But I think it goes without saying you'll do dumb shit for certain shit. And then that did whatever, and then headed home. And yeah, so like this is just like I'm never getting rid of this thing. And plus, this thing got like one of those Vortec motors in it, so like I can get
Yeah.
if the motor ever grenades in this thing, I got a buddy who I can get one for like $700. Like
Yeah.
I'll probably drive this thing to my grave.
I
That's
love it.
hilarious.
I love it. All right, Beef. I think it's time we put Ashton to the test here. Do
I
some
think so.
rapid fire questions. It's time for ripping the top.
Yep. So this is our favorite segment in the show, Ashton. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but it's called Ripping the Top. So I got 4 rapid fire questions for you. They're all food and drink related, and you're
Okay.
trying to answer them as fast as possible.
Okay.
So our still reigning quick time is 18 seconds flat.
Okay.
All right. So that's the time you're trying to beat. I believe we came. Who was it that came close last time? Was it Ryan?
It wasn't Tim's. It was
Chase Rodman.
Yes, Chase
came
was
in
quick.
came in at 18:07.
Okay.
So that's the closest anybody has gotten so far. But just pull the questions back up here. So I'll count you in 3, 2, 1. I'll start the timer and ask the first question, and then as soon as you're done answering the last question, I'll stop the timer.
All right.
All right. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Favorite beer or drink?
Rumplemints.
Favorite truck stop, snack, and drink combo?
Cool Ranch Doritos, Lifesaver gummies, and a blue Gatorade.
Top 3 pizza toppings?
Pepperoni, green olives, and ham.
Favorite wing flavor?
Buffalo, just mild, hot, hottest one you got.
Close.
Yeah,
Was
it had to be
close, but
That had to be close. He was flying. What was the time?
Still a little off. 20.3.
All right, well,
It was close.
I bet you if you left it at just saying Buffalo, I bet you beat that time because that was. I didn't want to say anything while you were counting it down, but that felt fast. That was a good time. That was a lap that looked good.
Yep. Maybe we'll get on the front row of a heat.
Yeah, exactly. That's
what you got to think about it. That's what you got to think about it, you know?
Yeah, P2 and Heat 4. All right, so let's dive into kind of your current season and what you got going on. So far, you've been in 35 feature starts. You picked up a win already on the year, 18 top 10s, batting about 50% on your top 10s, a little better than that. So how are you feeling about the season so far, and what more do you need on the old race car these days?
Honestly, this year's been nothing but complete shit. So, I don't know. I mean, we started out, we were, committed to do the World of Outlaw deal, and then I left the first night out. Wasn't running worth a damn in my heat race, but a piece of lead fell off somebody's car, come through, knocked my oil tank out. So night 1, I smoked a motor, and then I left Florida. I think of the 30 full-time guys that committed, I was 29th, and kind of been swapping, going back and forth. We have one good night, 4 bad ones, and then we finally kind of found our footing in May. I think I had I didn't even know it, but I think that one of those guys that tracks stats and stuff on the internet posted that I had run 8 straight outlaw races, top 5 or 7, and then I went to that 3 weeks ago. I was in North Dakota and Minnesota, and I blew up on Saturday night, blew up on Sunday night, and that was I was out of motors. I mean, I've got a fleet of motors, but I don't have them in my possession, so technically I
Yeah.
don't have them. But just really kind of difficult right now. I think if you talk to anybody across, I'd say probably the dirt racing landscape, whether it be late model sprint cars, bang bangers, whether they race at Weaver Valley, Port Royal, Cedar Lake, wherever. I mean, I think that just motors right now are kind of hard to get, and that kind of put us behind. I had to fall off the Outlaws a couple weeks ago just because, I mean, really, it didn't make sense to keep going. Like, there's so much pick and choose that you can do around us
Yeah.
at tracks that are not 30 hours away, like North Dakota and that Outlaw deal. It kind of got to the point where the best I could get to was about, I want to say ninth. Like, I still think I could have, if we had some stuff go our way, we probably could have got to the top five, fifth, sixth, seventh, something like that. And even that, with all the national tours now, up and up their show up money, their point money, everything that the incentives they give you to do that deal, it kind of makes it worth it towards the end of the year. Even if you don't have a great year, you pile on at the end of the year, and
Mm-hmm.
just really logistically couldn't make it work. And then, um, I think that I don't know. I mean, I'd probably give it a C minus. I mean, like we're fast. Like that's the most frustrating part. Like we're fast most places we go, but I feel like we do a lot of stuff throughout the night that, if we run fourth, we should have run second. It's nobody's fault but our own. And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of I think if you ask anybody, I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow. It's a tough pill to swallow when you don't run good, especially when it's what you do and how
Mm-hmm.
you eat and stuff like that. But it's even more frustrating when you can't, like, you can't stop affecting what you do and what you can control in a negative way at some point throughout the night. I mean,
Yeah.
racing now, and I've never been big into like sprint cars or anything like that, but I'm sure them guys will all tell you again, no matter, and I'm just speaking to dirt racing across a whole, if you don't unload fast, man, it's hard to dial in for that night. And then, you start to wonder, hell, can I drive anymore? And just, yeah, hell, could I have ever drove? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stuff that piles on. And I think that, we find our footing and just have a couple things maybe go our way. I mean, obviously, I tell everybody you can do everything right in a night, and it's not enough sometimes. I mean, actually, I'd say the majority of the time it's not enough. Like, I think that's what's cool about dirt racing in particular is like, the you don't typically see guys, unless you're Bobby Pierce, like, you don't really see guys that just like every night. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think it's, you're racing at the end of the day 23 guys in an AMA, but you're racing 60 guys when you show up, and
Yeah.
all of those guys, we all have really nice equipment and we all have stuff that, can win. Like I tell everybody when we go to Eldora, like I know Davenport wins like every other time we roll in there, but like everybody has the stuff to go win. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just difficult to really hone in on one thing when you got to make sure all your ducks are in a row, and every little thing has to go right even to win a 5,000 to win regional race now. So
Yeah.
I don't think that all of it is our doing necessarily. Like I think that there's stuff that's been out of our control. You can't control lead flying off somebody's car, or, sometimes you can't control flat tires, but I know I've always kind of been a realist, and what could I have done different? I think a lot of people see, when I am like probably one of the worst guys in America if I run second, like I'm pissed. Like,
Yeah.
while it's good, I mean, it's, because it could always be worse. It's just like when you're right there, second,
Yeah.
third, where like one little thing is the difference in, winning or standing at the bottom of the podium or standing next
Yeah.
to the guy. I mean, so it's a lot. And I think that, I wouldn't say that it's, um, been like a detrimental year, but it's definitely not been. I've definitely got kicked in the nuts plenty, so I'm ready to do some kicking in the nuts, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as a guy that's run, has run the major tour, has also been a regional guy, what, and running a pick and choose schedule as well, what do you think are, the benefits to series like Hunt the Front that has started up as more of a, not a national size tour, but more of a regional, but a little bit above regional size tour? What do you think that's doing for these regional guys that are taking step? Do you think it's more of a building stone, but for those guys to be able to get to the national level?
I don't know. I mean, I think like I did the Hunt the Front deal last year, and I think. Well, I mean, the obvious is when they're waving 50 grand at the end of the year in your face. I mean, it's hard for a regional guy not to do that because like the way I look at it is so again, I'm a numbers guy, so like if you look at it, like you got to run seventh in World of Outlaws to get 50 at the end of the year. And so, like, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, the top seven in the Outlaws right now is Bobby, Hoffman, Gustin, Troutman, McCready, and I know sixth on back is shuffled a little bit, but I'm going to throw some guys at you here that are, I'll just let you be the judge of them. Brian Shirley, Dennis Erb, Ethan Dotson, Cody Overton's picked up. Dustin Sorensen's obviously taken like I think that guy's as good as anybody in the country, especially when we go to his part. He just hasn't raced late models a ton. I mean, hell, that guy, like he won USMTS like the baddest modified guys every night. And so for me, like the regional deal, it makes it hard for a guy like I'm trying to think of somebody off the top of my head, because so like in late model racing, man, regional guys really like your top ones. They have the stuff to go do national stuff. I mean, look at Zach Mitchell this past weekend. Like Zach Mitchell went and won that week on the Hell Tour, and I understand that it's still a regional series, but man, Jason Fager's no slouch in his backyard. Trey Mills has picked it up a ton. You're racing turbo every night. I mean, we're talking about guys that have either won races or their trajectory is headed to the moon as of right now. And I mean, the thing that I've always said is the way the racing is now, at least in late models, is it's just as hard to win a Hunt the Front race as it is to win a World of Outlaw race. It's just a little easier to run fifth.
Yeah.
Which I think that, the Outlaws and Lucas have done a good job incentivizing their guys with everything they offer, to do the deal with perfect attendance and being loyal to them. It kind of makes up for those nights when you run seventh or eighth to boost you up to where you feel like you would run, third or fourth at a regional race. Like, I think that the biggest thing that the regional deal's lacking right now is it pays 50 to win the points, but man, like, I don't want to point out a specific series, but like, so like, let's just say you got a 10,000 win regional race. And it's strictly my opinion. This is not me saying that I know the fix, or I'm not even saying I'm right when I say this. It's just my opinion. But man, it's hard to go run a 10,000 win race that's just as hard to win as an outlaw race. Because I'm not just talking about Hunt the Front. I mean, Ray Cook series is hard to go compete. I mean, all the series across. I think like the up north, you got ULMS and. Comp cams over in like Texas and Arkansas. Like it's just as hard to win all those races. But the problem is like if you go race for 10, it's really, really hard when it pays 1,500 to run fifth. Like as like tires now are 240 a piece. Like motors ain't cheap. Diesel fuel ain't cheap. Like when you really look at what it takes to drop the lift gate on a trailer, it's not as simple as just dropping the lift gate, rolling out and racing. Like somebody's paying for it. And so, I would like to see boost in purse throughout the field in some of these regional races. But I mean, as far like Hunt the Front, I know for this year, and I don't know much about the other series. I've kind of worked a little bit with talking with Hunt the Front and them guys, and I feel like I know a fair amount about them. Like them guys, they get $500 per track show up money, and man, I'm telling you, like guys with one car and one motor, like you don't realize how much that helps a guy. I think whenever I was looking at everything this year, I want to say that I had it divvied out that off of show up money. I think in the World of Outlaws, if you're in the top six, you get 1,000 every night. I think, and actually, I don't even know. You don't even need to quote me on any of that because I don't even know. But because it's all scattered. But the show up money, like that, pretty much takes away the like okay, this guy that has one car and one motor, he doesn't have to worry about how he's going to get home. You know what I mean? So I would like to, I'd like to see a little bit of boost in purse throughout the field because at the end of the day, it is a performance-based sport. I mean, like you go to some of these races now, like, and you'll see like the winning purse does matter, and I'm not saying it doesn't, but like, man, back in the day, they used to not even announce what it paid to win races. Like, guys
Yeah.
just showed
Mm.
up. And then,
Yeah.
like, if you go now, my kind of rule of thumb has always been, and this is just my opinion again, because it is performance based, but, I don't think that start money should pay any less than 10% of the winner purse. And I think if you run 10th, they should pay at least 20% of the winner purse, because there again, you're kind of taking care of everybody throughout the field, and um, the way I want to say streaming, and I don't know all the ins and outs of the streaming and who's getting what and this and that, but this is just strictly from a hillbilly redneck racer that has done it all his life. I mean, I just, motors are still anywhere from 10 to 20,000 every time you freshen them up, and like I said, diesel fuels as high as I've ever remember it being.
Mm-hmm.
Especially there whenever I was doing it, and then COVID hit, and then we didn't know who could get what, and I'm not complaining about the prices, because it's always been you know hard to race. I'm just saying now that um, the longer and longer you go, like you get to the end of the year, and it's like these regional series, in my opinion, are really like held together by the guy that does it with one car and one motor. They're not held like last year on the front. Like, I think the top three was Brandon Overton, Longhorn house car driver. Like, obviously he's me, and like I know, like I have the stuff to go race. I have a really good car owner, and really good sponsors, and equipment to go do. I feel like what we want to do at the end of the day. And then Sam Seawright, who's like I said, really, really tough to beat, especially anywhere around here. And, you look at it, I think this year, like the top three, if I remember right, it's Owens, Hedgecock, Mitchell. I mean, them
Yeah.
guys, like I said, it makes sense for them to do what they're doing, but at the end of the day, they probably could go do, other things if they wanted to. And it's to me, it's held together by the guy that has one car, one motor, because he's probably going to be back. And it's hard when at the end of the year, if you don't have show up money, if you don't have stuff to reward your loyal guys, like if you run, eighth in a regional deal and get $4,000, I mean, hell, you're not even halfway to a motor rebuild. And
Yeah.
so like I said, I would like to see a boost in purse throughout points and event purse throughout the field. But that honestly comes from me. I've been that guy with one car and one motor. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of them. And like I said, I've been really lucky along the way to have guys to get me where I'm at, and I'm really, really lucky to have the stuff I have. But I'm not dumb. Listen, man, there's guys out there with one car and one motor that are probably as good, if not better than me. You know what I mean? But it's hard to line everything up when at the end of the day, everything comes down to dollars and cents. So that's one of the things I'd like to see. I'd like the World of Outlaws. I think we're the first to kind of do it, but like it's a little difficult when you go to an outlaw race and it pays 10 grand and you run 40 laps. I mean, hell, some of these series are still running 50 laps for 5. I mean, it's
Yeah.
when you really break it down to because I think everybody does about the same thing. Whatever your motor rebuild is versus the laps you're trying to get to, you effectively have a dollar amount on every lap, whether it's hot laps and
Yeah.
qualifying, heat race. If you got to run a V, like you're not just running 40 laps every night. You got to get there. So I definitely think there's different ways. I'm not saying I know the right one, but I think there's different ways you could come about, kind of making it easier for I guess I'm going to say the little guy, but like I said, at the end of the day, there's plenty of guys out there that got one car and one motor that could compete at a level, you know what I mean? But they're never going to get the opportunity.
Yeah.
I would hate to see it go down um, a path. I'll probably ruffle some feathers when I say this, but really, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. I'd hate to see it go down like a NASCAR path, because like
Yeah.
I was never one of the reasons I knew I was never going to NASCAR was because I didn't have the money to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's not like a cry. Like, that's just the reality of it. It is what it is. But it's. I definitely think that the middle of the purses could have some work done to them, and um, I really, really give a shout out to Hunt the Front for, I know that I don't remember exactly what it is. Like I said, I don't want to get into numbers and say something wrong and piss somebody off, but They did a really good job. They're one of the first regional series I know that pay like a, a steady, like pretty good show up money for their guys. And I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. So something that I want to ask you about is it feels like we've had like a ton of sprint car guys on the show, and they all have this perspective of, it feels like sprint car racing has never been bigger. Things are going so well. They've got 2 full-time 410 series, all that sort of stuff. And I don't want to say the late models are lagging behind, because I still think there's a lot of quality competition and multiple series running and all that sort of stuff. But why, in your opinion, do you think that late models are maybe considered a step down, or maybe a little bit in the background when it comes to dirt racing focus? And do you think there's anything that World of Outlaws or Lucas Oil or any of these series can do to push late models forward, and maybe almost have them lockstep in people's minds when it comes to dirt racing with sprint car racing?
Oh no, I mean, like, one of the things I'll say about like sprint car racing, and this kind of goes back to what I was just talking about, but I mean, I guess I'll ask you guys, like, what do you guys think the biggest sprint car race is every year?
Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah, it's Knoxville for me.
If I remember right, doesn't Knoxville pay like 20 grand to start?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you attract, like, I think our biggest race we have that pays to start now is Eldora, and I think it's 5. And
Yeah.
like, even like we both did 1 million,
Yeah.
and I don't know
Yep.
what the sprint payout was, but like, I know it was still 5 to start. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, I do think that one of the things that, um, and I am glad that sprint cars has 2, uh, series, high limit. Um, I don't follow sprint cars as much. I'm not gonna, like, I give my buddies that run sprint cars, shit, like, oh, you guys pushing
Yeah.
flips, this and that. But like, at the end of the day, we all race. We all want the same thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think, like, for me, um, I think that the sprint car deal, it's like when you watch NASCAR. Like, if you watch NASCAR, especially 10 years ago, if you buy a ticket to go watch NASCAR, you're going to watch Tony Stewart. You're going to watch Jimmy. You're going to watch, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Gordon. Like, sprint car has that kind of same thing going on, and I want to say I am completely and totally against only having one national series. I'm not saying that. Like, I do not think that that is a good thing. Like, I think that competition is what thrives, and I think that, with the sprint car stuff, the little bit that I've kept up with it, I think that the high limit coming along has helped the outlaw guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody, listen, we'll call it what it is. Everybody's having a dick measuring contest. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, for me, as far as late models go, I mean, like, you're gonna see, like, to me, the guy in our deal right now is Bobby Pierce.
Yeah.
Bobby does a really good job of, like, social media engagement and all that. Like, where he's going, but like, like, Brandon Overton could pop up in Kentucky one weekend. You know what I
Yeah.
like? I think that there's probably a little bit more of a, I guess, exclusivity is the word, to some of them, and some of it is, we'll just, like, call it for what it. Some guys just like sprint cars. Like, sprint cars are faster. They have a different look. Like, they race different. There's, like, you can keep the racetrack juiced up all night, and they race better on a juiced up racetrack than we
Yeah.
do. Like, our stuff now is so even. If it's wide open, like, it's pretty much a train race if
Yeah.
you get certain, whatever. It's funny we talk about Knoxville. I think one of the biggest things that we have kind of plaguing us right now is everybody wants to have a Knoxville style format, but not everywhere's Knoxville. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't really know what would be the in all honesty, until you guys said it, like, I didn't really ever look at sprint car racing as way out in front. I mean, obviously, I think that we're both kind of coming into our own, paths, but I could see how the sprint car deal, like, when the Knoxville Nationals happens with us, the back straightaway ain't sold out. It
Yeah.
is with sprints, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I definitely get both sides of it. I just don't know, I don't know enough about the sprint car deal to have an opinion on it, I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say something and it, me just sound ignorant and then stand behind it. And you know what I mean? So, but I think that speaking for late models, like, I think that one of the biggest things that we have that's not, and again, I don't know how sprint cars, but like, we have the dumbest rules in our, you know what I mean? Like, I've never been big on, like, I know it's a big deal, but like, I've never been super big on the safety thing. I know that safety matters, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I'm not gonna point out anybody, but anybody that listens to this by chance, honestly, you guys probably aren't gonna get very many views because a lot of people don't like me. But like, the thing that's here's what's wrong with late model racing right now. So in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm guilty of it. Like, so we're all supposed to have fire suppression systems. We're all supposed to have this belt. We're all seat belts. We're all supposed to have this. We're all supposed to have that. We don't give a shit about any of that to a point. Like, there's been times where somebody walks up and looks at my seat belts and they're 2 years out of date, and they're like, "Hey, you need to change those." And then like, we have these body rules that, like, obviously it matters. There's guys spending time in the wind tunnel and doing shit like that. And like, there are guys, and I'm not saying when one series out, one tech guy out, whatever. This is just my perspective being a racer. I'm a racer. I bitch. We bitch. Like, that's just what racers do. But like, you can go to any race across America, dirt late models, and like, there's like, pretty much everybody is illegal. It's just in what area, you know what I mean, you want to look. But it's like, one night they want to look at one area, as far as like another night they want to look at this area. And I think that if we had like everybody on the same playing field, you know what I mean, I feel like the racing would be a little bit better, and I feel like we would all be, I want to say we'd have less to bitch about. We'd probably have find something else. But I think that that's the biggest thing right now is like, our tech procedures are just way out in left field, in my opinion, of what they should be. And I think that there's a lot of, this guy can do this, but this guy, and I'm not, and it's not something where it's like anybody plays favorites. It's just like, I've always made the joke, the best time to go through tech is like at the very last minute, when tech guys have been sitting out in the sun all day because they just don't give a shit by the end of the day. You know what I mean? Whereas as far as opposed to, like, obviously pavement racing's big around where I'm at. Like, if your shit's not down to like the 1/8 inch of everything on a pavement car, you're not practicing. You know what I mean? And I think that that's one of the areas we've kind of gotten away from, feeling like we're all on the same playing field. And I can tell you, and I will say this, and it really, again, not pointing out a series, but again, I think if you have any late model guy that listens to this, they will agree with it. There is a lot of shit going on in our world on tires that gets either A, if it does get caught, it gets overlooked and you never hear nothing about it, or B, if something does happen, everything's so politicized about, like, I have a lot of respect for the guys that have gotten caught doing shit on tires that they're like, I did it. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we're all going to be bitching about something else next week. I just think that as far as, that's one of the areas that we could improve to make the product better. You know what I mean? I think that that's just, that's my opinion on it. And like I said, I don't keep up with the sprint car. And by the way, I understand that this is going to get taken way out of context. I am not sitting here saying that Jonathon Davenport goes to Eldora illegal. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm talking about, if you go to a regional $5,000 to win race, I promise that everybody throughout the pits, there is something on their car that's not what it's supposed to be. And I think that it's like that because we have rules that everybody, tries to find a way around. I've said this forever. So, like, back when Rumley and his dad and Davenport had that awesome year in 2015, the big deal was a split bird cage in our world. Well, how easy would it have been, you know, to let Rumley do whatever he was doing, and then eventually, if he would have sold him, great. If not, everybody would have tried to figure out how to be better. And I do believe that there are guys in our industry, whether it's Mark Richards, whether it's Steve Arpin, Labonte's at the time, Vinny Giuliani. You know, my dad's, really been a big help in, me, and he's worked with some big guys. Scott was really, really good at finding stuff and keeping it's like you can't work on your car without trying to go around,
Yeah.
uh, when they write a rule in black and white, like the number one goal is to find the gray area. Everybody knows that. That's the same way in sprint car racing, late model racing, pavement racing, go-kart racing, however you want to say it. But it's like they come out with more and more and more and more rules. And it's fine if you come out with rules, but then when you pick and choose what you enforce, it's like, what the hell are we doing? You know what I mean? I think that in my opinion on it, it would have been way easier to let Rumley and them do whatever the hell they were doing, kick everybody's ass for 2 years, and then they sell it, and we all spend $2,500 on a split bird cage and whatever. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, how many times on Facebook do you see a week? Oh, we've got this new shock. We've got this new part for a motor. We've got this. We've got that. I know one of the big topic of discussions I saw at one point was the wings on a sprint car. And, let people work on their race cars, and I think that's what makes racing cool. It's like you're trying to find that advantage, and then when you do make these rules, and then it's like, the number one thing that infuriates me as far as our rules go, I would say, is like the bodies on these things. Like our cars look like shit. Like sprint cars look cool. Dirt late models used to look cool. They don't look cool no more. You know what I mean? And I don't want to hear, oh, arrow this, arrow that, arrow the. You can still make them look cool, do what they're supposed to do, all that. But and then a lot of guys want to hide behind, oh, well, we did this for safety. We did this for that. We did this. Again, back to the safety thing. Listen, I'm not saying go on eBay and buy Carl Edwards fucking 2006, Talladega helmet that he won when he turned Brad Keselowski in the catch fence and, wear that to the racetrack. Go buy a nice helmet, go buy a nice suit, go do all the shit you're supposed to do. But it's when you make rules and then you say, oh, it's for safety. It's not for safety. You know what I mean? Like, just be real about it. And I feel like that's probably one of the areas we've kind of gotten away from, and we're becoming a little bit too much like NASCAR. And as far as one of the things I think that people used to like about NASCAR was like the sound of it, or Formula One for that matter. Like I watch Formula One, like the sound, the look, like all of that stuff. Like when they started, like it's gonna be like some of these backwoods folks that only watch NASCAR every week are gonna shit a brick if NASCAR comes out with an electric car. You know what I mean? Like, why? What is even the point? And I know that the way the world is today, and there's pollution, this, that. Like, I race. I don't give a fuck about any of that. You know what I mean? Like, let's just call it for what it is. Like, the same guys that want to bitch and complain about that are the same guys that think that you can't go out here on I-75 and somebody blow a tire in their car, come across 3 lanes, wipe you out, and you fly through the windshield. Like, it can happen. You know what I mean? Like, what if that and I hope that never happens to anybody. But if that happens to me, what the hell does fucking air pollution got to do with me or the people after me at that point? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. You're segueing perfectly into a question that I wanted to ask, and you said the rule you don't like the most is the body rule. So if there is a rule in dirt late model racing that Ashton Winger was allowed to change and make the way he wants it, what is that rule that you're changing?
Open the bodies up.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, it's as simple. A lot of people would probably call me an idiot for saying this, which is fine. I've been called worse, probably by better people. But, like, if you just wanted to, like, make the racing better, like, and you're so worried about, the way everything looks, whatever, make everybody put a damn 3-foot hole in their nose. You know what I mean? Like, make everybody take the spoilers off their shit. I'm not saying it fixes it, but I'm just saying, like, you're the rules that we're making, like, for example, like, I'll just give you one specifically. This fucking skew rule.
Yeah.
All right. So first off, like, just to give you an idea of how fucked up the rule book is in dirt late model racing. So, all right, the skew rules, if I remember right, maybe I'm ignorant, just don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But like the skew rules, 118 inches triangle patterns. So you got to be 72 inches across the back, 6 foot, and then you go 8 foot from the right rear spoiler up to the back of the spoiler up to along your door, and then you run triangle back to the left rear, and you got to be 118 inches. And then the very next sentence is, oh, you get a 1-inch tolerance. Make it 117.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, and then it's like, oh, okay, well then if this guy goes through in tech at 116 and 3/4, you know, like, I can tell you this from experience. I'm not going to tell you where I was at, just telling you it was a race, beginning of the year, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. So I got a buddy. He bought a brand new race car from somebody. He bought a brand new race car. All right. And then he goes through, puts a motor in, never tests, never does nothing. Like, I seen him do it. Goes through tech. He's 114 and a half. You're 2.5 inches illegal. Technically, you're 3.5 inches illegal, but you're 2.5 inches illegal. And tech guys are like, you're good, go. All right. Next guy rolls through tech. 116 and 3/4. You got to fix it. What the fuck? Like, why?
Make it make sense.
Yeah, and like, that to me is just like, if we're doing that, just let us do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
Like,
At that point,
let's at least make these things look cool again. And
Yeah.
that, to me, again, I think that, back to the thing you talked about with the late models and the sprint cars and all that, I genuinely think that there are people out there that like sprint cars because of the way they look as opposed to a late model. The same way there are guys that like late models because, they call sprint cars tumble bunnies, push and flips. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you. It's hard for me to watch a sprint car race when it takes 15 minutes to get going because we got to push everybody off. I get it, whatever. It's really not a big deal. I'm just bitching a bitch. But it's just like, if we're getting back to like the quote unquote, roots of everything, we can talk about cost, we can talk about this, we can talk about that. We can also talk about facts. The facts are, there used to be 200 plus race cars that showed up to Eldora at the biggest race of the year. Now there are 90 to 100 race cars that show up to Eldora for the biggest race of the year. And by the way, them guys that used to show up, you can ask anybody this, and they would make 2 laps qualifying. I want to say they were all together where the racetrack would fall off 2 seconds, and you would just try to get in that cut of 120. Like, if you were in the top 120, you made 2 laps at Eldora and went the hell home. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, somewhere along the way, yes, I understand cost has gotten more and it takes more to go race and all that. But at the end of the day, racing is always cost money. And, like, there's just a million different things you could pinpoint to in this. For me, it's the bodies. Like, our cars used to look cooler, in my opinion, and now they look like shit. They look like shit because of the rules they put in place. And the problem is, the rules that they put in place, for one guy it's good, and the next guy it's pull the entire rear deck out of your car at the racetrack and fix it. What the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough, man. I mean, it's well put. Like, I know you kind of like slag yourself off a little bit here, but you're the one sitting behind the wheel, and you're the one who's cashing these checks at the end of the night. Like, this stuff matters to you, and you're totally right to have that opinion, and it's opinion that I think is valued, man. I think it's one that definitely anybody who's listening who's got some sway in the late model world definitely should hear you out and hear. I'm sure you're not the only driver who thinks that way. I'm sure these are conversations that you're having in the trailers at the end of the night or whatever it might be. So I want to ask, though, shifting away from late models, if you had to run something else besides a late model dirt, super late model, something like that, what other dirt car do you think you could ever drive or you would ever see yourself driving?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. Them guys that run street stocks look like they're having a hell of a time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've run a modified some, and mods are cool. I mean, I just like racing. Like I said, I don't really I don't keep up with everything because we're so like in tune with it. But like if
Hmm.
I don't watch it as much as I used to, but like I said, if on a Sunday NASCAR's on, I'm probably watching it. I'm not one of them guys that's like, oh, I'm not watching it because of this or that or Formula One or like I dude, if there was guys up the road racing around the Dairy Queen parking lot in their damn Honda Civics for a fucking dilly bar, I'd probably sit there and watch them. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the guys that run them street stocks, man, them guys look like they are having a hell of a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
true. Street stock racing is always good.
Yeah. So there's always entertainment there.
Yeah. So we put out on the Instagram looking for questions, and I'm going to take full responsibility. I did put it out a little bit late. I was meaning to put
This
it up
guy.
earlier in the day, but we got one question.
Okay.
So, and it's from Courtney, and she asks, if somebody knows nothing about Ashton Winger, what's one thing you would want them to know?
I'm not as big of an asshole as I put off. Um, I just have I could probably work on my delivery of stuff, but
Okay.
no, I'm pretty, and I don't think I'm probably the only one that would say what I'm about to say, but like, I think that one of the things that is cool about late model racing, sprint car racing, modified racing, racing in general, like there ain't really nothing special about me. I'm just a regular dude that likes to, hit shit, win every now and then, and obviously you want to win every night. But I would say that I probably get a certain guess reputation for how I say things. I don't really mean to come off the way I do sometimes, but I feel like my intentions are pure. I don't really. I've obviously been in plenty of headlines. Probably a few too many negative ones. But I don't really. I just like racing cars and fixing cars and hanging out and doing pretty much all the same stuff I'd say that everybody watches us on TV do. I always try to make time for people that walk up and want to have a conversation, and that's what I think is so cool about what we do is the access that people have
Mm.
to us. I mean, granted, I think some of it can be a little there's a line, but I think that I think I've seen people posting on, TikTok and all these different forms of social media, get your favorite driver to respond and this and that and the other. I don't feel like you're going to get that anywhere. The up close and access you have as you are to dirt racing, I'm going to
Hmm.
say. Um, but no, I don't really have any. Like I said, I don't really have anything out there that's like I'm not no special dude. I'm just a random, you know, whatever you want to call me. Everything you probably have to say is probably right. I just like to hang out and race and like rumplements.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you one more thing from me here. I was going through your website, ashtonwinger.com. Went to the bio section. Couple things jumped out. First and foremost, on a less than serious note, occupation, starting quarterback, University of Phoenix. Love that bit. That was great. That was a great find on there. But I did want to ask you about your racing heroes. You mentioned growing up, it was Josh Richards. Now you mentioned Tyler Erb. So what is it about those two guys that make them heroes in your eyes?
Well, Josh growing up was like that guy just got after it, man. Like it was didn't really matter if it was lap 1 or lap 100. I think that especially nowadays, and it gets me in trouble a lot. You don't need to necessarily go 100% from the start. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know that if I figured out how to do that. Um, but and honestly, Turbo, man, me and him are. I mean, I'd like to think me and him are pretty good buddies. We talk about every day, if not every other day. I mean, I don't know how the hell you can't like that guy. I just, he's, I have it's like I said earlier, we were talking about like guys that have done stuff on tires, and like I have a big respect for guys that just like they own who they are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like I said earlier, like there ain't nothing special about me. And I think that if you ask Tyler, he'd probably be like, I race, like there ain't, you know what I mean? It's, I just think that the world in general has too many people that like, and I get it to a certain extent, but like give a shit what other people think, or um, that are trying to be somebody they're not. And I guess that's the one thing I'd say to anybody that wanted to start racing or do anything. I mean, I feel like what's gotten me to where I'm at is I'm the same guy I am. We're sitting here talking on this podcast. Like, I'm the same guy if we were hanging out at the watering hole up the road. Like, we're, you know what I mean? I just think that goes a long way. And for me, you know, Tyler's one of them guys that what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? He's
Mm-hmm.
one of the best dudes that would give the shirt off his back to anybody, but he'll also be the same guy giving you shit about needing a shirt. You know, like if
Yeah.
I needed his shirt, it'd probably be me doing something stupid to get it,
Yeah.
mine taken away or whatever, and he'd be like, "Well, here's my shirt, but you're a dumbass for, you know." So no, them two are, you know, big, and there's a lot of people I could point out that, like I said, I've looked up to. You know, obviously for starters, my dad's a big one, Gary. He's done a lot for me, and you know, as far as like guys that are probably a little better known, you know, Shane Clanton, Clint Smith's done a ton for me. And, you know, one of the other guys I always like growing up was Don O'Neill, because every time you get out, he gets out, man, it looks like that guy just run a marathon. Like, you knew he was giving everything he had. And I just, like I said, I think that's what's so cool about what, you know, dirt late model, sprint car, just dirt racing as a whole is the, we have gotten the lucky to take the, you know, the path to, you get, you know, everybody gets to watch us every night, but it's, you know, at the end of the day, you know, the stuff that you see on TV is really no different than anything that goes on at your local track you go and watch. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. And uh, you know, as long as I don't do nothing stupid to get fired, I hope I'm in for this for the rest of my life.
Nice. So we always like to end it on this question, Ashton. Is there anything outside of racing that you're into? Could it be golf, sports, anything that you do when you're not driving a race car?
Uh, I am a diehard football fan.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, honestly, I make the joke to everybody, like, if I didn't, if the racing didn't pan out, and like I said earlier, I don't really know how to do anything else. But one of the things that I like to do, I never played football or anything like that. I was never big enough. I'd probably get knocked on my ass, and as if racing hasn't given me enough concussions from all the shit that I've hit, I probably would have double that. Um, but I think that. I like watching football. Like, we all have our favorite teams, our favorite players, but I think that, you know, watching football. First off, I like watching guys just lower their shoulder and hitting people. But just like there's something there's something to me that's like magical, I guess you'll say,
Yeah.
about 22 guys on a field and everybody's got to do their part and there's chaos going on. It's like racing in a sense that, you know, if everybody doesn't do their part, shit can go south, you know, pretty quick. And I tell everybody down south, man, especially college football. College football down here is like a religion. So
Yeah.
it's that's I'm. But as far as like, man, I've never been big into fishing or hunting, or I mean, I'll go, but it ain't, you know, it ain't something that I'd say I thrive at or excel at. I just,
Yeah.
you know, I like riding around in my old beat up pickup truck, working on race cars, racing, and watching football when it comes around.
I was gonna say, so you got to be bigger Georgia fan than you are like Falcons fan or something like that, right?
So actually, I'm actually a huge Alabama fan.
Oh, you're.
Oh.
I feel like you can't say that too loudly in your parts.
No, there's not. I get a lot of shit for it, but no, when I was so actually my number, I was like probably a little bit of a crazed obsession, but my number come from Tom Brady. So I was always big into Tom Brady when he played in the NFL, and then when he kind of veered off, I've always kind of taken to college football a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I was always, you know, when I was a kid, you know how it is, you kind of just pick somebody. I was always a big Nick Saban fan, and then when he went to Alabama, I think in '08. I didn't really start like being like into it until I was probably 14 or 15. But no, my dad is a big Georgia fan, and it's definitely a house divided. So
Yeah.
there's and of course it's nice whenever Alabama beats Georgia as much as they did, but now Georgia's kind of stepped their game up, and it's a little harder to talk shit. But
Yeah.
no, I actually went to the Rose Bowl 2 years ago when Alabama was there, and probably got into the Rumplements a little early, and probably should have had my ass beat in the stands. But my dumb ass, I actually went with a buddy, and I actually went with a few buddies, and so them games like that, you got Alabama sideline, and they played Michigan, and for me the Rose Bowl was like the game, and
Yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention. But when Alabama got in, I just called my buddies. I was like, "Hey, we got to go." Like they're like, "All right, we're in," and like I bought the tickets like that. And my dumbass, we walk into the Coliseum there, and they're like, "Oh, well, Alabama sideline's over here." I was like, "Yeah, we're over here,"
Oh
and we might have
no.
been the only ones in crimson on that side of the field, and I probably got a little too sauced, a little too early, and thankfully Michigan won. If Michigan didn't win, I probably would have had my ass beat in the stands, but. No, that's I don't know. That's like I guess you say that's sports in general, but football, sports in general, whether it's racing, football, basketball, golf, whatever. Like I just think it's cool how everybody comes together and for a few hours everybody can escape and go into like another world. So I think that's really cool.
Awesome. Well, it's been an awesome interview, Ashton. We thank you for coming on, man, and we wish you nothing but success in the rest of your 2025 season.
All right, well, I appreciate y'all having me.
Cheers, brother.
Sweet.
Thank you.